Plagiarism? Really? That's the best we can do? That's what we've got? That's the smoking gun, the silver bullet that's going to take out Joe Biden? Are you kidding me? Good morning, it's Pastor Marty from the Afternoon Drive. This is our Thursday edition. Just want to give you a programming note before we get into the video that today is Thursday. I won't be producing another video for at least 4 days, so I didn't want you to come to my channel and panic and think that, I had violated a community standard and been removed from YouTube. No, I'm just going on a short vacation, just the wife and I. And, she just got this thing about doesn't want me vlogging or doing any radio or political stuff while we're away on vacation. Wives are kind of funny like that. But looking forward to a little bit of R&R. But we will be back at it either Sunday night or Monday morning. And thank you in advance for your support for this channel, spreading the word, because again, our algorithm is being messed with. But I need you to keep sharing about this channel. And I do read your comments, and I am really humbled and moved by the fact that many of you love this channel and you talk about it and you like what you hear here and the content that we present here. And I'm so glad for that, and thank you so much for your faithful support. If you're not a subscriber, please do so. Make sure you smack the bell and get notifications of my next rant. Well. The big GOP strategy to take out Joe Biden is to bring up the fact that, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 120 years ago, Joe Biden committed flagrant plagiarism. Okay, we got it. We know the guy's never had really an original thought in his head, and when he does, it's usually a gaffe. He is the walking gaffe machine. I saw Karl Rove out there the past 24, 48 hours making the rounds talking about, Joe Biden's a plagiarist. Joe Biden's a plagiarist. Fox News with their banner headline, "Oh, we got Joe now. These acts of plagiarism 30 years ago just won't go away." With who? The man became vice president. Didn't seem to stop him. Now, I know 30, 40 years ago when this happened, it wrecked his political career. He was knocked off the national stage. Really? Because, he kept getting reelected to his congressional seat. I'm not seeing where this destroyed him. It exposed him. It exposed him for being a fraud. It exposed him for being a cheat. It exposed him for being a liar. And the fact that his current campaign team didn't seem to know anything about this does make them look inept and foolish. And just a quick Google search will bring up everything that you need to know about Joe Biden and plagiarism. But here's where the GOP doesn't get it again. The American people today don't care. They don't care. What do they care about right now? Well, they care about the fact that some Hollywood movie actresses may have bribed to get their daughters into prestigious colleges as members of a rowing team that they never rowed for. Ooh, for whatever reason in our pop culture society, that stuff, why, we'll scream foul over that, despite the fact that we know that kids like, George W. Bush back in his college days, do any of us really believe he got into college based on his intellectual merits? Or did he get in there because of who his daddy was, who his grandfather was? We used to call that legacy. And so, if your dad donated a lot of money and they built a really big building, you were in no matter what your SAT scores were. So when I see this, this big blow up over, I can't believe these Hollywood movie actresses actually paid money to get their kids into college. Well, Shazam, Batman. There's nothing earth-shaking there. But yet, it's become this national obsession news story. Because it's happening now. It's pop culture now. The daughters were trending on Twitter and social media now. But, what Joe Biden did 30 years ago, nobody cares. Case in point, nobody has held any of the things that the Democrats tried to throw at Donald Trump from 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Now, we understand that some of it's over the top, it's embellished, it's outright made up, it's a distortion. But really, can we get real here? I mean, Karl Rove is right. 20, 30 years ago, why, this has been the end. So it would have been the end of Donald Trump 20, 30 years ago had we heard the tape of him on a bus talking about what he liked to do to women. That would have been the end. But in today's political climate, in today's society, in today's pop culture, sorry, that just ain't going to do it. Now, you got plenty on Joe Biden with him being creepy and grabbing women, and you're letting the lying legacy mainstream corrupt corporate media spin that. Well, he's just friendly and he comes from a different era. No, you got to keep pushing back on that narrative. He's creepy. He invades women's spaces. I'll tell you what Donald Trump will do if Joe Biden becomes the nominee, and I say if. Because don't rule out Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm telling you, I know you think I'm insane when I say that. Don't rule her out. I'm just telling you. We know the establishment Democrats, they want Joe because they think he appears as centrist and sane when, they're having to deal with the AOC socialist branch of the radical, liberal, progressive Democrat wing of the party. But don't rule out Hillary Rodham Clinton. She may be the one that's even re-leaking all of the plagiarism stuff about Joe Biden. That said, Ted Cruz, when he ran, remember, he wasn't really supposed to get as far as he did. He was the fall guy for Jeb Bush. See, Ted Cruz, and you know how I feel about Ted Cruz here, Ted Cruz ran to be this extreme conservative, and then Jeb Bush, when he threw his hat in the ring, he and Cruz were supposed to go a couple of rounds, back and forth at debates, setting up the conservative narrative for Cruz, the moderate, rational, sane for Jeb. And in the end, Jeb Bush, because of his name and all the money he had, the incredible war chest he had, he would vanquish all of the Republican field of nominees, and he would take out Ted Cruz. And what that would do is it would do two things. One, it would ensure that yet another Bush would get the nomination to be president, and it would kill this whole idea of conservatism, because I've told you, Ted Cruz is not truly a conservative by conviction. Remember, he came up through the Bush administration. And when he ran for the Senate out of Texas, originally, I believe that whole thing was a Bush family plot, as well as Karl Rove could be a part of that. Ted, you run as a really extreme conservative guy. You know you're going to win because we're going to throw money behind you. We're going to throw our political machine behind you. You're going to win. Then you're going to get to Washington. You're going to govern as this, way out conservative. But in 2016, when it's presidential election time, we want you to throw your hat in the ring, and you are going to become the foil for Jeb. But Jeb is ultimately going to beat you, and we're going to accomplish a couple of things. We're going to keep our globalist agenda in place, and we will eradicate this cancer of conservatism from the Republican Party. That was the big plan. Look what happened. In came Donald Trump, blew it all up. Now, that said, the plan right now, it's Joe Biden. Now, that could all blow up. That's just what I'm saying. He could be the fall guy so that Hillary gets brought forward saying, okay, nobody believes that any of these far left loons, the Kamala Nata-Hadi Harris, Beto O'Rourke, the Irish Latino, and the rest of this cavalcade of clowns running for the Democratic nomination, none of them are going to win. And by the way, Donald Trump did steal the election. Robert Mueller said so. He had Russian help, even though he didn't collude with them. This that this whole thing is a setup for Hillary. But if by some miracle Joe Biden manages to pull off becoming the nominee, then Donald Trump's best weapon against him is not 30-year-old charges of plagiarism. It's Donald Trump making Joe Biden defend the Obama record. And there is plenty of material, newsfeed from all of the networks at that time, of how poor, piss poor the economy was under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, and they were totally and completely inept and impotent in being able to do a thing about it. And all Donald Trump has to keep hammering is, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Are you better off financially? Is your security better? Is your job security better? Even Democrats have to say yes. There's plenty of other things for Donald Trump to hit Joe Biden with, especially the whole creepy thing. Because again, even though there's been accusations made against Trump, I've told you, the narrative goes in Trump's favor. There's no video, and this is a video-visual world. We have entire channels on the internet dedicated to people visually showing stuff, their opinions, their food they're having for dinner. It's a visual video world. There's no video of Donald Trump doing anything inappropriate with females. There is, however, lots of video out there of Joe Biden being creepy and can't seem to keep his hands off the opposite sex. That said, don't listen to Karl Rove. Remember, when he sits there and says, "Oh, this is it. This plagiarism. This is the end now of the Biden candidacy." Yeah, 1979 it would have been. This isn't 1979, Karl. Hate to break the news to you. And you, who got a guy guilty of war crimes, i.e. George Bush, reelected, plagiarism, this is your big plan? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. Now go away. And conservatives, don't fall for it. This is not the silver bullet that will take out Joe Biden. That's it. That's my rant. I'm gone for 4 days on vacation. Please like the video, share the video. Let's get our algorithms up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to get my next rant.